If you open first time Nuke Interface, you will get this gray, very beautiful panels. So we have main viewer, we have node graph, also in this tab we have curve editor, dop sheet, and also we have properties. Let's open material, and I'm going to show you main parameters, main nodes, main features of this amazing soft. First way, you can drag and drop your material. So we have three types of materials. This is video containers, for example, move, maybe MP4. Another type is image sequences. This should be EXR sequences, maybe JPEG sequences, PNG sequences, and other. We need to select folder with your sequence and also drag and drop inside node graph. So what is sequence? Sequence is type of files. We have one same name and numbers for each frame. So we have move file with this plane. Also we have sequence with this EXR files. This is same material, but this format is move format and this format is EXR sequence. Also we have single files. You can drag and drop single JPEG files, PNG files, EXR, TIFF, HDRI, and other. Also you can drag and drop inside Nuke viewport your single files. This is first way, drag and drop way. Another way, we can create read node. Hotkey for read node is R key. You can import inside read node your sequence, maybe this one. Another way, we can create read node, hotkey tab, and type read image, and also we can open some files, some sequences, videos using read node. So let me show you a few parameters of your read node. We have timeline, and each read node we can connect to viewer. You can use these lines, or you can just simply select your read node and press maybe 3, maybe 4, maybe 5, and we have a lot of input inside viewer node. And if you mouse in viewport, we can just press 1, 2, 5, and we can switch between these three reads. Also we have this timeline. We have global parameter. It's typed by default. Also we have input, in, out, and visible. If you open your move file, we have original frame range between 1 and 33. If you open this sequence, we have original range this one, and if you open JPEG sequence, we have only one frame. So we can switch between global and input, and if you connect your read one for viewer, we will get original range for this file. If you switch to another EXR sequence, we will get original range from this read. And if you switch to this single JPEG frame, we have only one frame, and Nuke keep this original frames for previous read node. Also we have in out, so we can select, for example, in for this and out for this, and play only this range. Let me switch to this read. Also we can select global parameters for your script inside project settings of your script. So we can enable project settings by pressing S key when you mouse in properties tab, and inside the project settings we can set frame range. For example, we can set frame range for this move file 133. This move file is first I drop it in node graph, and Nuke gets these frames in in global frame range. We can switch global frame range in this field. Also we can switch FPS, full size format and proxy mode. But for now we don't use proxy mode, so this my main parameters in project settings: frame range and FPS and size format. So we have different size format. For this move file we have 1080p resolution. For this sequence we have format 4K, and for this image we have format 8K. So we need to set in project settings my main full size format. So if you want to work with this move format, we need to set this range in this frame range, and also we need to set this format HD 1080 in this full size format HD 1080, this one. And my script is ready. Next step, I'm going to save my script. Go to File and press Save Comp. We need to create folder for your script. For example, it should be compositing folder. This one, Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V, chapter 1, and version V01. Version of my script 01, and press Save. Also, Nuke will add NK for your name and press Save. Let's go to my comp folder, and you can see my Nuke script. We can open it using, for example, Notepad, and you can see this is simple code. You can open it and edit, for example, remove some nodes and change some properties for the script. This is very easy file, only 2 kilobytes. There are no any move formats, EXR sequences inside, only NK script, and you can send it via mail, messengers, open in another PC. Let's create my second node, and I'm going to show you few main parameters of every Nuke node. Let's create grade hotkey J. Also you can open this menu. We have a bunch of groups: image, draw, time, channels, colors, and inside colors we can create grade node. Also you can press tab and type grade and create grade node. There are 3 different methods how to create nodes inside Nuke. Grade is color correction node. We can change, for example, gain, gamma, black point, white point, and other color parameters inside Nuke. For example, I'm going to change, for example, a little bit gamma, maybe increase gain, and maybe change, for example, offset, make my video more blue. And inside grade node we have a bunch of main parameters. So we have mix. We can change this power of this node, use the mix parameter. If you set mix to 0, this node is disabled, and if you set mix to 1, this node is enabled. Also you can select node and press D, and we get these 2 black lines. This node is disabled in this pipe. Inside material folder we have this image with main parameters of each nodes inside Nuke. In next lesson I'm going to show you how to animate parameter, how to create masks, how to work with channels, how to work with stereo, how to clone nodes, and how to disable by expression, and how to add expression to parameters inside Nuke. And let's talk about masks. Masks is very important part of each compositing script. Each task inside the Nuke includes working with mask. We use In general, we use roto or roto paint nodes for creating masks. Let me disable this in out. So let me show you how to work with masks. If you create roto or roto paint, you can draw your line like this, and you can enable this roto to your mask. Every node inside Nuke has mask input. For example, if you create color correction node, we have also mask. If you create, for example, blur node, we have mask. If you create, for example, expression node, we have mask. Mask is the right input in each node, and we can attach this to your roto or roto paint node. And inside mask node, we can switch to alpha channel hotkey A, and you can see this mask part inside your Nuke. What is channels? I'm going to show you in next part, but the simple way how to create masks. Also, you can double click on this node, and if your node enabled is in properties, you can change mask point position. And if you close this node, you don't see any red lines, and we can't change mask in viewer. Also, if you want to change some parameters, you can enable grade node in properties and change these parameters. And if you want to delete all or remove all nodes from properties, we can just press on this small button. Let me show you another hotkey, very important. This is Q. Q is enable or disable all overlays inside Nuke. So we have this red line from roto. Also we have this HD 1080, this is my root format. If you press Q, we enable or disable all these technical lines, labels, words, and all overlays. Next up, I'm going to show you how to increase size of your panel. We can press space and increase this panel, or if you mouse in viewer or node graph, we can press space and increase node graph tab or increase properties tab. And also we can do this with dop sheet and other. Also we can create another viewer. For example, we can press on this small button and press split horizontal, for example, and choose in this menu, go to window and press, for example, new comp viewer, and this viewer 2 I'm going to move into this table. So I have this viewer 2 and I can input, for example, viewer 2 for read 1 and viewer 1 for grade node, and we get original image and color corrected image. Let's talking about Nuke, NukeX, Nuke Indie, Nuke Studio, and other soft you will get when you install your Nuke. So we have a few different types of compositing: 2D compositing, 3D compositing, collaboration, editorial, and pipeline. When you go down, you can see a few types of Nuke license: Nuke, NukeX, Nuke Studio, Hero, Hero Player, Nuke Indie, and you can see a bunch of different toolset, different nodes. So you can see NukeX, Nuke Studio, and Nuke Indie has all nodes, all features such as Planar Tracker, Chronos for timing, advanced warping, and VR stuff and other stuff. When you go to 3D compositing, we also have the same table. For example, Nuke doesn't have a 3D camera tracker, model builder, particle system, point cloud generation, and other. Nuke Indie and NukeX and Nuke Studio has all these features. Let's go to collaboration. Also, you can see Nuke Studio and Nuke Indie has all these features. And also you can switch to editorial and pipeline. This link I added in material folder. We have links file. I added this link to links file in docs folder for chapter 1. If you run your unsaved script and Nuke asks you for restore autosave file, if you want to press yes, you will restore last autosave. Unreal makes every autosave in 5 seconds. You can change this parameter in preferences. Let's go to edit preferences. In general tab we have autosave after 5 seconds and force autosave after 30 seconds. You can change this parameter if you have a very large project, maybe with point clouds or with a lot of nodes. So I always keep this parameter by default. Also you can change cache folder, and by default this is drive C and 10 gigabytes of disk space and 10 gigabytes for RotoPaint cache. Also you can change directory and size of your cache. Also we have a lot of parameters. We can change colors, fonts, interface, and other stuff inside preferences tab. Let's talking about workspace. We have a bunch of workspaces. This is main, large node graph. We can create nodes in this window. Large viewer, scripting, animation, floating. So this is very interesting workspace. We can put this window in second monitor and we have a very big node graph. And double click on each node will open properties tab, and we can open many properties tab. Very interesting and very popular workspace. And if you want to create your own workspace, you can split, for example, these two windows, add this maybe pixel analyzer, and if you want to save your workspace, just press save workspace, create shortcut, and press OK. Also, this is my own workspace with two viewers and all other panels by default. Let's go ahead and talking about nodes and parameters inside. So if you open, for example, grade or RotoPaint, we have a bunch of parameters. If you move your mouse in this parameter, we'll get this yellow label, what this parameter means. And if you put, for example, for clip, for pre-multiply, we will get a label with small help. If you want to get a big help about this node, just press on this small button and you will open a big document about this great node with every parameters and very big help about every node. If you want to learn more about RotoPaint, just press this button and you will get more information about RotoPaint or about Roto. Also, we have a big help menu in main menu. You can open keyboard shortcuts and learn about basic shortcuts inside Nuke. I also will add a document in docs folder for this chapter with my own main shortcuts I use in every project. Also we have a big documentation page with, for example, very big online and offline help about installation, about Nuke Studio environments, about tutorials, resources and other stuff. Let's talking about interface. So we have in the top of Nuke this main menu with edit, workspace, viewer, render, cache. So we can clear cache in this menu. For example, Nuke used your RAM, and also if you have, for example, 64 gigabytes of RAM, Nuke can use all memory. So we need to clear cache by this menu, and you will get empty memory in your PC. Also we have this small bar. So we have current layer, current channels, we have viewer processing. By default this is RGB. We can disable viewer processing, change to another viewer processing. So by default Nuke use sRGB for viewer processing. What about color space? I'm going to show you in next chapter, in next lessons. Also we have viewer gain and viewer gamma. We use these parameters only see something in viewport, in viewer, and this is not same what single color correct node. You can change gain and gamma using color correct or grade, and this node is change your material, but these two parameters don't change your material. It's only for viewport. You can find black point, white point, you can see a black zone and also white zone of your material. If you want to set this scrubber by default, you need to hold Control and left click on this parameter. Also you can change every parameter in every node to default by holding Control and press left mouse button and keep this parameter to default. Also we have this very interesting parameter. If you set first input of your viewer to your read node and second input to grade node, you can select wipe line and you can see before and after using this wipe node. Also you can change for example by roto, and you can see another input of your viewer. What about navigation? If you press scroll, you can pan your image or node graph. If you scroll up or scroll down, you can change your size in viewport and node graph. Also you can change processing. For example, you can change 1:8 and you will get very fast render but very bad quality of your image. If you use, for example, 50% of your zoom, you can set 1.2 and you will get fast render in viewport. Also we have a very interesting safe zone. You can activate this, guys. Also we can change maybe proportion of your image. We can activate clip warning. So if you have very big exposure, for example, you can see this red channel 1.5 and you will get this black and white lines. Also we can activate proxy mode but we don't use proxy mode in fast PC. We don't need this. full frame processing. So what is full frame processing? If you work, for example, with this part of image, with this zoom, full frame processing allow you render all image to make, for example, this yellow line show me that this image is rendered and keep in my RAM. And if you enable full frame processing, we can restore this image and we get fast render for your script. But if you use this part, if you're working with this part of image without full frame processing, for example, let me show you. I cached this part in memory, and if you change to 100 zoom, we need to get new render, fresh render for all image. Also, we can recalculate your viewport. We can use, for example, this zone. Only this zone. If you're working with very heavy project, very heavy scripts, we need to a small zone for rendering. We can use this region of interest button. Also, we can hold my script, my render, to press this pause button. What about these buttons? So we have FPS. We have few FPS inside Nuke. This is my main FPS. You can change to 25, maybe 60, and we have viewport FPS. We can keep viewport FPS by 8, for example, and we get very slow movement in my viewport. But if your project FPS, your main FPS is 16. And this FPS only for viewport playing. You can see, you can find bugs of your script, of your project in low FPS, and also you can change FPS to very high, for example 120. It's very fast FPS. So in real project we always set maybe 5, maybe 6 FPS, and look at every frame, looking for bugs, looking for artifacts every frame. Next, time code. You can keep frames or you can change to time code. And next, this global input or in-out or visible frames. And this is buttons, play, play to next key, and other. Also, you can find in this field your sequence duration. There are 33 frames. You can enable flipbook for this viewer. You can capture this viewer, and you can enable or disable your input and output frames. Okay, let's talking about very important moment. This is hotkeys. If you use Nuke hotkeys, you can increase your working process. You can work faster and easier. So first moment, all Windows hotkeys are working inside Nuke. For example, Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V. If you want to copy this few nodes, you can press Ctrl+C, then press Ctrl+V, and you will get all these nodes. Also, you can copy these few nodes and paste, for example, in WhatsApp or in TXT document or in Telegram, and send these nodes to your partner, maybe compositing supervisor, or to your client. Also, you can use Ctrl+S to save script, and Ctrl+N to create new script, Ctrl+O to open. Other most common Windows hotkeys. So next very popular hotkey is Tab. You can press Tab and put node name, for example, soft clip, and create node from this menu. And the very popular hotkey is space. Also Nuke very sensitive to your cursor. If your cursor, for example, in viewer, you can press space and increase viewer size to full screen. If you viewer in node graph, you can press space and increase your nodes. If you viewer in properties tab, you can press space and increase properties tab size. Also, this mouse cursor very sensitive for all other hotkeys. For example, for my channels, I can use hotkeys red, green, and blue hotkeys, and alpha A hotkey for alpha. But if your mouse in node graph, blue hotkey creates you blur node, G hotkey creates gray node, grade node, and mouse position very sensitive inside Nuke. So very important nodes inside Nuke is M for merge node, C for color correct node. You can see if you select some node, start to create new node by hotkey, for example J for grade node. This new node is attached to previous selected node. If no node selected, if you want to create, for example, blue node, you create a new node and this node is don't attach it to any node in your script. You can use B for blue node, you can use O for roto node, you can use P for roto paint node, you can use T for transform node. This most common, most popular nodes inside Nuke. All popular nodes has his own hotkeys. You can use R to create read node. You can use W to create write node. Write node we use for render your script. Also, you can use hotkey D to disable node or group of nodes in your script. For example, I want to disable this color correction nodes and I press D and all my selected nodes is disabled. Also, you can use, for example, Shift X to switch your inputs. For example, I have this merge node and I can press Shift X and I switch it A and B inputs. We're talking about these popular nodes in next lessons. What is A and what is B inputs I'm going to show you in next lessons. Also, you can clone node. What does is cloning? For example, I'm going to clone this grade. I'm going to select this one and press Alt key and I clone this node. For example, I want to change gamma, and in my cloned node gamma also change it to 3.5, and I can clone a few nodes. I have 5 cloned nodes, and if you change, for example, gain in this one, all my nodes changing gain to this value. You can see all my cloned node is changing gain. If you want to unlink some node or disable this red clone line, you need to select this node and press Alt Shift key, and you can unlink this cloned node. You can create groups from nodes. For example, you can select these nodes and press Ctrl G, and if you want to go inside this group, you can switch to this menu, or you can press Ctrl Enter and switch to this group. Also, you can press L to align your nodes in beautiful line. I attached a small document in docs folder in chapter 1 with most popular hotkeys I used in every project. Also, if you want to learn all hotkeys, you can open help, key segment or keyboard shortcuts, and open all new key shortcuts. Also, you can create your own shortcuts and your own menu, your own gizmos. I will show you in next lessons. Okay, what about PC and hardware recommendation if you use Nuke 14 or newest? Nuke support macOS, Nuke support Windows, and Nuke support CentOS. If you're working with a real project, most important part of your PC is processor. So that's my real project, and if I going to run this project, you can see this not real time. This maybe 1 frame per second, and if I open my CPU, I work in AMD Ryzen 9 with 16 cores. You can see Nuke use all my cores and 26 gigabyte of memory, and also my NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1080 Ti. So first and most important part of your PC is a processor. Next important part is your graphic card, because Nuke has for all heavy nodes, for example Z, the focus, use your GPU if it available. All very heavy nodes use your GPU. And next important part of your PC is memory. For example, for real project you need something between 20 and maybe 60 gigabyte of your memory, of your RAM. So for minimum hardware requirements, Foundry recommend 8 gigabyte of RAM, but I recommend something between 16 and 30, 50, 60 gigabyte of RAM for real projects. And for storage, Foundry recommend 6 gigabyte of disk space. I recommend maybe 1 terabyte SSD M2. It's very fast disk, very fast storage. If you're working with DPX, with EXR files, you need very fast storage to make fast rendering, fast preview. If you're working with films, with for example movies, we have a lot of material files, maybe move files. This very big part of your disk space. Also we have a bunch of renders. This 16 bits or 32 bits EXR files use also a lot of your disk space. And what about video card? I recommend something between GTX 1080, this very old and very fast and very optimal graphic card for compositing. Also you can use a newest card, maybe RTX second or third family. This requirements for GPU from Foundry. Also I recommend use 2 monitors for real project. If you're working with movies, with films, you can use 1 big monitor for Nuke and second monitor for references, for chat with your team, for technical requirements for your project, or you can use, for example, floating workspace and move this display viewer in a second monitor and use Nuke more effective and easy to work. Next important moment, I recommend you use a tablet, maybe Wacom, maybe other. It's very fast tool for for rotoscoping, for compositing. I use maybe in 80% tablet for compositing tasks. It's very fast. Roto creation. You can create and edit your masks very fast and easy process. Okay, let's create a new script and make simple compositing task. So I opened Nuke and let's move my file into the node graph. And the next step, I'm going to set up my project. So you can see my timeline got 33 frames because my move format has first frame 1 and last frame 33. And let's press S, and I'm going to set up my project. So I have resolution HD and I need to set up my project resolution. In this video I'm going to show you how to remove this label. It's a very simple task for compositors. And also I'm going to show you a few very important Nuke nodes and popular used Nuke nodes we often use in each Nuke script. So if you have a simple task, for example, if I want to remove this sign, I'm going to create a frame hold node. So I'm going to create clean plate and remove this sign only in one frame. So I'm going to choose best frame for this. It should be last frame of this video because in this frame you can see all surface of this thing. Next step, I'm going to freeze this frame. I need to use time node. Let's go to time and I'm going to choose frame hold node. So we have a bunch of very important time nodes, for example, append clip, frame hold, chronos, optical flow, retime, and other. I will show you in next lessons. So first we need to frame hold to hold this frame in frame 33. So if you don't need 10 nodes in property tab, we need to set 2 or 3 nodes and you can see only 2 last nodes. So next step, I'm going to create clean plate so you can render this one frame and remove this part in Photoshop. Also you can do this inside Nuke. For remove something, for draw something, we need rotopaint node. A hotkey is P for rotopaint, and inside rotopaint node we have a bunch of features. For example, we can create masks, also we can brush something, we can choose brush color, we can choose brush opacity, and also for all my brushes we have a single layer in rotopaint node, and also we have different properties of this each layer. For example, like this. So I don't need this brush, I need the clone tool, this one. And if you see in this move format, you can see this black part in my material, but if you move your gamma up, you can see some information in this part. So I'm going to choose clone brush and set opacity maybe 0.3, and I'm going to create clean plate in this frame. You can hold shift to increase brush size. So my clean plate is ready, and you can see this works only in frame number 33 because we have lifetime only for frame number 33. You can choose all these layers, go to lifetime and set all frames. So this rotopane for now working for all 33 frames. Next, I'm going to create simple mask. I'm going to use merge node. So merge node, very popular and very important node inside Nuke if you want to create or attach one sequence with CG elements or with another sequence. We always use merge node, hotkey is M. So if you have, for example, color wheel node, let me show you this one, and if you want to attach this piece of material with your main material, we need to merge node, and we need to set B input. This is background, this is main input for merge node, and A input, this is foreground. Also, you can create transform node, and inside transform node we have scale, we have rotate, skew, also we have translate. If you select this number, for example, and move your mouse wheel, we can very fast and easy move these parameters, move these numbers. And also you can change, for example, scale. If you want to attach something to this material, this input, we can use another A2 input, for example, color bars. I'm going to attach color bars, and inside color bars we don't have any alpha channel, so you can see this add process. So what is alpha channel? Inside every material, inside each material we have alpha channel. So we have red, green, blue and alpha channel. This is opacity channel. For example, for color wheel we have this alpha channel. White numbers, this material is not transparent, and black numbers, this part of material is transparent. So if you move this color wheel and we get no transparent material, no transparent color wheel. If you move this color bars, we have transparent color bars because we don't have any alpha channel. You can enable alpha channel in this material, for example, using different methods. Maybe you can use expression, and inside expression we have 4 channels: red, green, blue and alpha, and inside alpha I'm going to set 1, and we get white alpha, and this material is not transparent. And inside merge node we have mix, so we can create mix of these 2 inputs. Also we have a different operations. So we have, by default we have over, also we have plus. So I have these numbers of my material, and also I have these numbers of my color wheel, and plus mode is plus this material and this, and we get something like this. Also we have screen, also we have stencil, for example. This is remove this part from my main material. And also we have very important mask operation. So all about these different nodes you can see in docs folder. I added this table in docs folder, and you can see all operations, for example, a top, average and other. So what is capital A and what is capital B? This is RGB channel of B slot for B input and for A input. What is B and what is small b and what is small a? This is alpha channel of B input and this is alpha channel of A input. So for every mode we have simple mathematical operation, for example capital B multiplied by small a and other. What is minus capital A minus capital B, and we have this result. So you can see all these operations and all main operations we will use in this training. Okay, let's create a simple mask for my clean plate. So I'm going to use a merge node and I'm going to create a mask. I'm going to use roto node for this task and I'm going to set a merge node in mask operation. And in this mode you can create simple mask for your clean plate. So let me choose area. Let's select roto node and let's create maybe Bezier, the simplest and very popular method. And I'm going to create this mask, this one. If you want to add new points to your mask, you need to hold Ctrl-Alt and add new points. If you want to remove points, we need to select and press delete. I don't need the intersection with my black part of material. So yeah, my clean plate is ready. And the next step, I'm going to create merge node and attach this part to my main material. So if you press hold, if you press Ctrl, you will get the small yellow dots, and if you put and click mouse in this yellow dots, we get this dot and create attach your clean plate to your material. So my clean plate is attached to my main material, but if you want to play all this sequence, you will get this result. So my clean plate is change color, and also my clean plate is freezed to frame number 33. So we have a few different methods how to track this simple clean plate to your main material. So there's only a small piece of my metal, and I'm going to track this guy to my main plane wing. First method, I can use a simple tracker, this one, tracker node, and create few points to track my clean plate. Let me show you. We have this field. If you press Ctrl-Alt and click, for example, in this part, you will get this tracker number 1. Also, we have two different area in this tracker. First, inside area with surface, I will search in previous and next frame, and big area with surface, search area. So if you have very big movement, for example in frame number 32, next point, this point will be maybe in this part. We need to increase this search area to find this point in next or previous frame. And next moment I'm going to attach my tracker to my main material. You can attach to this point or this point. And next step, I'm going to increase brightness a little bit, because in this frame we don't have enough information for my tracker. So I'm going to create color correct node or grade node and just increase gain, and maybe a little bit increase gamma, and maybe increase a little bit contrast. Yeah. And let's create tracking in backward direction. So we have a bunch of buttons in this field, and I'm going to press track previous frame, only one, and I can press this button, track to start, and track my point to start position. So we have tracking of this point, and let's put this tracker. I'm going to copy this tracker, Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V, and put this tracker to my clean plate. So this is my clean plate. Let's create backdrop node. And set name clean plate. Next, I created tracker number 2, and I'm going to track this guy. I'm going to track this clean plate to this one point. So we can copy this tracker node and go to transform tab, set transform to much move one point, and press set to current frame. We have a reference frame. Reference frame we have 33, because in frame number 33 I created this clean plate. So this is my reference frame. Let's check the result. So we have this interesting moving. If you can see, my clean plate is change scale, change color, and change some position. So for this task we need another point. So one point is not enough for this task. And let me choose, for example, another point in this wing. Maybe this one, because all other points, for example, to make scale rotation, we need for best result this point, but in frame number 30, this point is in black area, don't in frame. So I'm going to use this point, because in this frame we have this point in my frame. So let's press this button, add tracks, and set my track number 2 in this field. Yeah. And let's track in other direction. And I'm going to delete this old tracker, and I'm going to Ctrl+C and Ctrl+V my new tracker. The next step, I'm going to activate for tracker number 1 and tracker number 2 translation, rotation, and scale. And also I'm going to go to transform tab, choose much move, and press set to current frame. Let's see the result. So I do this for this guy, and let's move. If you want to remove this node from your script, we need to select this node and press Ctrl+Shift+X, and we can remove this node. And I'm going to attach this new node, transform much move, and reference frame 33. Let's check result. So my result is a little bit better, but we have this type of tracking don't work properly in this case. So we need another method. We need another very important tracking method. This is Planar Tracking. Let's create Planar Tracker. Select my color correct node for this wing and create Planar Tracker. And in Planar Tracker, I'm going to create simple area. So what is Planar Tracking? If you points on one planar surface, you can use this planar tracking mode. You can use also Mockup Pro for planar tasks, for planar tracking tasks. This very powerful very powerful plugin. But in this lesson I'm going to show you how to use only Nuke nodes. And you create this shape. Also you can change different type of your moving, so you can keep only transform. If you have scale of your surface, you can choose scale. If you have rotation of your surface, you can choose rotation. If you have shear of your surface, so what is shear? If your points, for example, move in this direction and all other points is on one position, this is shear. So we have shear in clothes, we have shear in maybe face and other organic parts. And also we have perspective, change surface in perspective. So I'm going to use all this 4 type of motion. And also we can press track to start, waiting a few seconds. So we have this bug in the end of this shot. So maybe I'm going to disable shear and perspective. Let's track this part. No, it don't work. Let's create maybe simplest surface. Maybe this one. Yeah, much better result. And next step, I'm going to create my node for planar tracking. So I'm going to select this layer, and also I'm going to activate display planar surface and press set image sizes planar surface to my entire frame in reference frame number 33. And go to export tab and press, for example, corner pin relative. And we get corner pin node. And if you attach this corner pin node to your clean plate, you will get this result. So what is corner pin? This is another very important node. Let me show you. Corner pin, if you attach your corner pin to your clean plate, this one, you will get 4 points, point 1, point 2, point 3, and point 4, and you can move these points and move your clean plate. Also you can set your points to these corners. To do this, we can disable this node, go to From tab and move from points in these points. Then go to Main tab, press Copy From, and we get the same coordinates of your points. Then you can enable your node, and you can move this part of your image like this. Planar Tracker use corner pin to move your clean plate using tracking data. Let's check my result. So my result is much better, perfect result. And next step, I'm going to animate this color of my clean plate. So I'm going to show you a few moments about parameter animations. So we have curve editor. Also we have in every node inside Nuke opportunity to animate any of parameters inside any node. For example, if you want to animate rotation, you can create first key, press right mouse button, set key, and we get blue color in my frames. Also we have blue color in my key frame. If you move your scrubber, for example, in other frames, you can see this color. So this parameter is animated, and also you can see this small a letter in transform node. So this parameter is animated. And in frame number 1, I'm going to rotate maybe like this, and we get simple rotation. In curve editor, you can see this curve, and you can press, for example, F to fit this curve to your view, and also you can change your handles, your Bezier lines of your keys using these points, and you can create, for example, new points. Just hold Ctrl Alt and click on this line. And also you have created this new key in my frame number 18. Also you can create other keys by, if you're in frame number 25, you can create another moving. If you're in frame number 10, you can create another moving, and you will get this animation. If you want to remove this animation, just press right mouse button and press no animation, and you can remove all animation of your parameters. For a few nodes, for example roto and roto paint, we have automatic animation creation mode. So if you have this Bezier line like this, and if you move to frame number maybe 22 and start move your points, you will get new key, and you will get animated shape. So for this node, animation mode is enabled by default. If you want to remove this key, this one, for example, you can go to frame number 22, and if you want to remove key on frame number 22, just press this delete the current key button, this one. Or if you want to remove maybe this key, we can do this in dop sheet. So if you in frame number 15, we can go to dop sheet, select this node, and just delete from dop sheet this line. Also you can do this from curve editor. So curve editor a little bit buggy, I don't see any nodes in curve editor, so you can remove keys from dop sheet, for example, or from node graph. In all scripts, in all real project, we make animation very often, so I'll show you how to animate parameters in each used node inside Nuke. So let's create, for example, color correction node, and I'm going to animate this color in my frame number 1 because we have different color. And in frame number 33 we have perfect color, so I'm going to set new key in gain, in gamma, in contrast, in saturation. And let's go to frame number 1. I'm going to decrease saturation. I'm going to decrease my gamma. And maybe for gamma I'm going to press on this color wheel. If you hold Ctrl and press in this color wheel, you will get very big parameter properties. And I'm going to little bit add blue color, cold color to this. Clean plate, maybe like this. And let me check animation. Maybe in this frame I'm going to add some hot color. And in this frame I'm going also change my color. And also you can see very hard line in this part, so you can make this more softer. Let's go to frame number 33. This is my reference frame, and if you select your points, you can choose these small guys and change this decisive core. If you attach your viewer to rotor node and enable alpha channel, you can see this very simple decide of your alpha, and you can do this for all your points. Let me check. Yeah. And next step, I'm going to add some grain to this freezed part. You can use different methods. Simple grain node, not grade, only grain. This is simple grain on your surface. Let me check. I'm going more intensity. Let me switch to black channel, to blue channel. Hotkey is B, and let me increase blue grain. And I'm going to disable apply only through alpha, because we have this simple gradient, and I'm going to add grain also in these parts. Let me check. In my black area, this is perfect result, but we need perfect result to all my color diapasons. So we don't need this grain in frame number 33, because we have very big grain in this part, and in this part we have enough grain. So I'm going to animate also grain parameters. Let's press key in intensity, and also in this key. Yeah, my script is ready. Let me check. My task is ready. This is my final result. Looks nice. Okay, next step I'm going to make rendering of my project. So we need to create write node. Hotkey is W. And if you have move material, move video file in high res, for high res, we need to render this move with these frames, with original frames, with original resolution, and also with original colors or LUTs. So we have gamma 1.8 for this movie. Also you can change this LUT. For example, you can change to sRGB or for other when you start your script. But if you select, if Nuke select for you gamma 1.8, we need to render this move file with this gamma. So we have materials folder. You can just simply copy this name with this path to render in same folder and paste in write node. If you press enter, you will get setup for move file. So by default this is gamma 2.2 output color space. We need to change it to gamma 1.8 because my read node has gamma 1.8 color space. Also you can change codec. You can use Apple ProRes and other. Also, you can choose codec profile. You can use ProRes 422 or maybe ProRes 444, 12-bit or other. And also you can change FPS. For films we always use 24 FPS. And if you have 33 frames in your project settings, you will get 33 frames in render tab. I'm going to change this name, for example, US Navi out, output, and press render. In this frame range mode, we can choose input, global, custom, and viewer in out. So we have input and global same frames, and I'm going to press OK, and we get this result. Let me show you result. US Navi out, and we get this result with clean wing. This is high resolution, and also you can create daily release for your supervisors, for your client. So we often use dailies in half resolution. So we often use 4K, maybe 6K for your original sources. And for dailies, we also create reformat mode and decrease scale twice very often. So I'm going to set mode scale and scale 0.5, and you get this resolution, this half of HD. And in write node, I'm going to create this same path, same folder, and MP4 type of your move. So you can use this gamma 2.2 color space, and for codec you can use this one, and also you can change quality, for example medium, and press render. Let me show you. This is my high res 27 megabytes, and this is my dailies, only 1 megabyte, and you can show this guy to your client, to your supervisor, and all your team. We often use dailies format, this simple format, to make preview, to check quality, check result, and if your script is ready, if your result is perfect, if your project is completed, you can render final result for high res. Let me show you most important Nuke nodes I use in every project. So I have my first script. I have read node to import sequences, move format, pack sequences, EXR, TIFF, PNG, and all stuff, all visual stuff inside Nuke. Also we have write node. This node we use to export video or sequences or other material from Nuke to deliver it in other department in color grading or montage, to send some dailies to your supervisor or client. So let me show you other very important nodes. Inside first menu we have read, write, also we have constant node and checkerboard. So we use constant node to create simple color. We can set color using the scrubber, or if you press, if you hold Ctrl and press on this wheel, we can add some color, or you can use this speaker to get color from image, from sequence, maybe this sun color I need, and you can use this speaker. Also we have checkerboard. This simple tool allows you create simple background to check, for example, keying. And if you don't have environment for your CGI element, compositors always use this checkerboard. We have simple setup. Also, we have a viewer in this menu. You can create a new viewer from this. And also we have a viewer when you start your script. If you move your node, for example, like this, you can also disable this node from pipeline, from your script. You can remove this node from your script. Okay, I'm going to delete this viewer. And next menu is draw menu. We have roto and roto paint inside this menu. Also we have grain to create grain inside Nuke. How to use grain in professional level I'll show you in next lessons. I just show you important nodes and simple setup of these parameters. Also we have noise in this menu. You can create different noise and different type of noise. If you want to create simple procedural animation of this noise, you can use that parameter. If you press right mouse button and choose add expression, you can add simple expression to create procedural animation of this noise. For example, if you type frame, divide by 10, for example, and run your animation, you will get this noise animation. If you divide by 100, you will get slow animation. Also, you can create this animation, for example, in other nodes. Maybe you can create grade node, and if you want to add, for example, in gamma, in red channel expression, you also can press right mouse button, add expression, and type, for example, something like this. Let me show you. And you will get a simple procedural animation. Divide by 10. Yeah. Okay, what about timing? We have a few very important nodes. For example, append clip. If your sequence starts from 230 frame, not from first frame or 0 frame like in this video, you can use append clip to define first frame of your sequence. Also we use this node to offset frames to start sequence from frame number 0 or frame number 1. And if you disable append clip, you will get this freezed sequence. Also, in all read nodes we have frame range, and also we have hold, loop, bounce, or black when your sequence is not in this frame range. For example, my sequence starts from 230 and my scrubber in frame number 33, and I'm going to hold, I'm going to loop, I can bounce, I can disable my sequence also for the last frame. We can set black this parameter, and I don't see any smoke in my read node. Next very important node, frame hold. You can use this node to freeze your frame number 25, frame number 30, frame number 1. Also you can set increment, for example 3. If you set 3, you will get increment frame in every third frame, like this. If you set increment 10, you will get animation like this. The small formula for this parameter. Also, we have very important tool, Chronos. You can create very beautiful retiming using Chronos. For example, you can set output speed 0.5, and you will get very nice slow sequence without any artifacts, without any bugs. You can see very interesting result. Also, you can increase your speed, maybe 2, and we have simple setup of these parameters. We have different methods: motion, blend, frame. I always use motion for retiming. Also, I often use time offset. You can start your sequence from frame number 10, like this, and if you choose black, you will get something like this. Also, you can start from frame -5, for example, and your sequence will start in frame -5, and also your sequence ends earlier. Next category is channels. So we have shuffle, shuffle copy, add, remove, and other stuff. I will show you this powerful node in next chapter. You can manipulate with your channels using shuffle node, and this is very powerful and very important node inside Nuke. I'll show you in chapter number 2. Next category is color. We have color correct and grade nodes. I showed you in previous lessons. And also we have, for example, clump node inside. You can clump from 0 to 1 all your values in this sequence. Also, we have a bunch of very important nodes: hue, correct, hue shift, and match grade. I will show you in chapter number 3 in color block. Next is keyers. We have very important key light, Premult, and other keyers to remove your green screen, blue screen, and add some amazing environment, made paints, CGI elements in your green part of your video, of your sequences. Next chapter is merge. We use merge node. I showed in previous lessons. And also we have switch node. Switch node has 2 inputs, 0 and 1, and you can create, for example, color bars and color wheel, touch to switch, and in this node you can switch from 1 to 0. Also we have input number 2, and you can attach, for example, your main sequence 1, 2, 3, 0. And also we have Premult and unpremult nodes, so this is very popular and very powerful node. Let me show you what is premultiplied and unpremultiplied result. So from computer graphic, from render, you can get, for example, this EXR with this alpha channel, and this material is premultiplied on alpha channel. If you create, for example, constant and set color gray like this and compose these two material, you can see this material is pre-multiplied on alpha. So we have this RGB channel and channels and this alpha channel, and if you add this render on your gray constant, you will get this result. Also we have pre-multiplied and unpremultiplied result like this. So this image is pre-multiplied. We have this alpha and this RGB channel, and also we have this RGB channel and this alpha channel. And if you want to attach this atmosphere over your Earth, for example, like this, we need to switch B input to my Earth to background like this, and you will get this result. And if you attach this unpremultiplied clouds, you will get this result, but we have alpha channel is same. So in this case, when you use unpremultiplied render, we need to create Premult Node like this, and we will get premultiplied clouds on alpha channel. Let's go to the next tab, transform tab. So we have transform node, very popular and very important node. Also we have crop node. You can use this crop node to crop your material like this. Also we have corner pin node, I showed in previous lesson. Mirror node, you can use this node, for example, to refresh your material for in your brain, because if you work with your project many hours, many days, all this material looks perfect with can be with bugs and looks perfect for your brain, for your eyes, and you can create mirror node and switch your material by horizontal position like this, and you will get you will get fresh image for your brain. Also you can use crop node in the end of your script to remove these bounding boxes. Let me show you, and your Nuke will work faster. Also we have reformat and planar tracker and simple tracker in this tab. And also we have grid warp, very interesting and very important tool. You can make distortion like this. And let's go to the 3D tab. You can see 3D and 3D classic. This is new 3D stuff and this is old 3D stuff. We have a new chapter, very big chapter with 3D lessons in near future. You can find this lesson. Next part is particles. Also we have many lessons in this training with particles in next chapters. Deep compositing, stereo compositing, technical nodes, for example dot, for example group node. Also you can go to all plugins update and update your plugins, your gizmos. And also if you have additional plugins, for example Mocha Pro plugin and other stuff, you will see all your plugins in the down part of this menu.